Hello, friends. This is Connie Davis coming to you from Peoria, Arizona, and I am an accountant turned energy worker. And what that means is I'm still responsible for doing all of our household finances as well as the finances for my business. As many of you, I struggle to remain organized and be able to find things within a few minutes of someone requesting it. So over the years, I've developed a couple of skills that help me do that, and I thought I'd share them with you today for the reason that everywhere I've been lately, all of my friends are scrambling or canceling appointments in order for them to get their paperwork together so they can have their taxes done. I have happily streamlined mine so that it's not nearly the amount of time that it used to be in the past. So basically, I use two different systems of organizing myself, and I thought I'd share those with you today. The first system is just a very simple worksheet. I've included it at the bottom of this video. I will likely do it in Excel and then also in Google Sheets just for shareability. But basically what it is it shows the source of the income, the due date when you are expecting it on a regular basis, the frequency, whether that is weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, whatever you have, the usual amount of that money, and then I've incorporated a column for the login site and another column for the password. And the reason that I did that is I'm sure many of you can relate to me that there are certain days where I just can't remember my password for anything, even though I may log into my bank a couple times a week. For some reason that day, I just cannot think what my password is. So this helps me out a lot. I don't have to search my brain for information it should already know. It is also very helpful for people in your family that may need to access this information in your absence. So a spouse, a bookkeeper that you may have in charge of this, anyone who would need access to your financial records, this is a really great record to have. The second aspect of it goes over expenses. And what I have done is just listed some usual expenses for a household, some for businesses. You can add to that list at will. It has due dates in which I'm expecting to pay that either online or writing a check or even PayPal. So I pretty much know what bills I've already received and which ones I'm still expecting. As they come in, I tend to cross it off and I know what I'm still waiting for. I also have, if I am familiar with the monthly amount, I've incorporated that as well. You can also have expenses that are very ad hoc, such as virtual assistants, website support, things of that nature. So I put the amounts in there. Once again, I have the login information for however I pay that bill, and I have my password. So this should be kept private, obviously, but accessible to other people who may need it in your absence. So I've also chosen to do color differences for the income and for the expense. Color has a very important piece to add in this. It should be pleasing to you to look at so that you're paying attention to what your expenses are and what your income is. So I've chosen to use green for income. It's traditionally done in black for income, and I've also done blue, which I find very calming for expenses. So normally you would see that in bright red, but honestly that does not feel good to me, and I doubt it would feel good to you either. So please choose your colors carefully, and the ones that make you feel best about both sides of it are the colors that you should choose. I've also included a prayer that I use some version of this as I get income in. It says to hold the paycheck, cash or check, against your heart. Allow yourself to resonate with that. And then I thank my Creator for supplying this to me. And I hold the energy of gratitude. And I'm going to feel that gratitude coming from my heart. I'm going to feel it the entire length of my body and also allow it to extend out. I also ask to be guided for its highest use, and that everyone that it extends to is also blessed. Now, another thing I have done in the past is using a crystal. A lot of my clients tend to pay me in cash or checks, and so I do the same procedure, but then I have also programmed this crystal. It's nothing special. This one is labradorite. It's typically not used for money to my knowledge. However, it felt right, so I use it. And I've also programmed this to allow whatever is beneath it to expand. So I only put income. I never put invoices or bills. So that is another tip that you can use. Also, before I pay my expenses, I have another prayer, very similar in nature. And you're doing everything in the spirit of gratitude, because that's what really creates a shift. I wasn't always feeling good about paying my expenses, but now when I look at what it's providing to me and what I'm actually paying for, it has created a big shift in the way I handle it. So I would really recommend trying this out and seeing how it works for you. The second system that I have set up is, I'm kind of old school. I like paper. So I set up file folders, and you can see that these are January, February, March. I have gone with the coordination of red, yellow, blue, and then repeated red, yellow, blue. So they are all staggered, but I know personally that if I take the blue folders, those are always at the end of a quarter. That kind of helps me out, because if I haven't gotten to make sure that everything's balanced, that I went and pulled my bank statements, I've downloaded them onto my computer, I've made sure that all the bills were paid, etc. When I see blue, it's another reminder to me that anything that might be coming in quarterly should be arriving, as well as an opportunity to go back and perhaps fill in the blanks when I didn't do it the first time. So visually, I really like these. I keep 1 year of documents in a cycle. So as soon as I would be replacing March of 2018, as the papers arrive for 2019, I simply take everything out of here, I shred it, and I start gathering all of the income copies and pay stubs, that type of thing, as well as the bills as they've come in. So I have access to the previous 12 months pretty much at all time. I can take it right from my drawer and hand it to someone if they needed to see it that way. Of course, you can repeat the system online through folders, doing it the same way. And another thing I've done is I have taken, the way I file these is on March, one side is going to be the income, and the other side I'm going to use for the expenses. So I know where to look within the folder, and I do it alphabetically. Now, maybe that's a little bit too much for you, but you find your own rhythm in using it, and I can tell you I never fret anymore when tax season is coming around, because I know I'm prepared for it. I know that I have a really great idea of what my income is each month, what my expenses are each month, and also how I feel about the services that I'm getting. So if, for example, you are trying to find the vibration of gratitude when you're paying a supplier and you just can't seem to get there, well, then perhaps it's time to find another person that makes you feel better about paying that type of expenditure. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and I think that I might do a more in-depth video later, but this should certainly get you started. If not for this year, then perhaps for next. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.